If I disappeared tomorrow, would anyone even notice? The thought wasn't new. It had been lingering in my mind for months, maybe even years. But tonight, for the first time, it didn't just whisper, it screamed. I stepped onto the last bus of the evening, barely aware of my own movements. The city outside was alive, streetlights flickering, cars rushing by, people laughing in restaurants. But none of it felt real to me. It was like watching a movie I was no longer part of. I dropped into a seat near the middle, exhaling a sigh so deep it felt like I was deflating. The bus was mostly empty. A frail-looking elderly woman sat up front, dozing against the window. A young man stared blankly at his phone, earbuds jammed in his ears. And then there was the driver, a guy who looked like he had way too much energy for a man working this late. He was tapping his fingers on the wheel, humming some old jazz tune like he was performing for an audience of one. I closed my eyes, hoping to disappear into the background. But then, the driver's voice cut through the quiet. "Rough night, old man? Or rough life?" My eyes snapped open. I wasn't sure if I was annoyed or just surprised. I looked up, meeting his gaze in the rearview mirror. He was grinning, wide, easy, like he wasn't afraid of anything. I sighed. "Bit of both." He chuckled. "Yeah, I figured." I frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" He shrugged. "Midnight bus riders, there are two types. The ones who are running towards something, and the ones who are running away." I scoffed. "And which one am I?" His grin widened. "Haven't decided yet, but I'll let you know by the next stop." I shook my head and turned back to the window. The city kept passing me by. But for the first time in a long while, someone had noticed I was there. The bus rolled through the dimly lit streets, the steady hum of the engine filling the silence. I tried to retreat back into my thoughts, but the driver wasn't done with me yet. "So, where you headed?" he asked, his voice light, almost teasing. I hesitated. "Nowhere. Everywhere." It didn't matter. I settled on the truth. "Just riding." He nodded, as if that answer made perfect sense. "Yeah, I get that." I studied him more closely. He wasn't much younger than my own son, late 20s, early 30s at most. But there was something in his eyes that felt older, like he'd seen his share of life's wreckage and managed to laugh his way through it. "You always this cheerful?" I asked. He smirked. "Oh, absolutely not. Sometimes I'm downright miserable. But I figure, if I gotta be awake at this ungodly hour, might as well make it interesting." I raised an eyebrow. "And how's that working out for you?" He grinned. "Well, tonight I get to annoy a grumpy old man, so I'd say pretty damn well." For the first time in years, an actual laugh escaped me, short, unexpected. I barely recognized the sound. Benji's face lit up. "Ah, there it is. You can laugh. Thought you might be allergic." I shook my head, still half smiling. "I used to laugh all the time." Benji's voice softened. "What happened?" I looked down at my hands. They looked old, wrinkled, like they belonged to someone else. "Life." Benji didn't push. He just nodded like he understood. We sat in silence for a while, the kind that wasn't awkward but heavy, like it carried something unspoken between us. And then, from the front of the bus, a quiet voice broke through. "Young man." We both turned. The elderly woman, the one who had been dozing, was now fully awake, watching me with sharp, knowing eyes. "Do you know what people my age regret the most?" she asked. I blinked. "What?" She smiled, a sad, understanding smile. "That we didn't live enough while we had the chance." The bus suddenly felt smaller, like her words had sucked the air right out of it. She reached into her purse and pulled out something small, a neatly folded handkerchief, embroidered with tiny blue flowers. Carefully, she extended it toward me. "You can use this to wipe away tears," she said softly. "Or you can use it to wave hello to something new." I stared at it. At her. Something in my chest clenched, an ache I had long ignored. I swallowed hard, then reached out and took the handkerchief. It was soft, warm, like something that had been held with care for years. I cleared my throat, my voice rough. Thank you." Her smile deepened. "Just don't let it gather dust in your pocket." And with that, she turned back toward the window, as if nothing had happened. I sat there, holding the handkerchief, feeling something shift inside me. For the first time in years, I felt like someone had seen me. Really seen me. And I had no idea what to do with that. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the city's distant hum barely reaching my ears. My fingers traced the edges of the handkerchief on my nightstand. Soft, delicate, a gift from a stranger who, in just a few words, had made me question everything. You can use it to wipe away tears, or wave hello to something new. What if there was still something new for me? That thought stayed with me through the morning. And for the first time in years, I didn't ignore it. I left the house. Not to run errands. Not to just pass time. I walked. No real destination, just moving, letting the cold air wake me up, feeling the pavement under my feet. It was strange, noticing the world again. The way the trees swayed in the breeze. The way a mother held her child's hand as they crossed the street. At some point, I stopped in front of a coffee shop. The scent of roasted beans drifted through the door. I hesitated, then stepped inside. And that's when I saw it. A flyer pinned to the bulletin board by the counter. Volunteers needed. Local community center for seniors. I stared at it for a long time. Once, I would have walked right past it. But today, something was different. My hand slipped into my pocket. My fingers brushed against the handkerchief. Rose's words echoed in my mind. Don't let it gather dust. Before I could overthink it, I pulled the flyer off the board and stuffed it into my coat. The next morning, I walked through the doors of the Maplewood Community Center. And everything changed. The place wasn't fancy, just a small building with a cozy atmosphere. The kind that smelled like fresh coffee and old books. Seniors gathered in clusters, chatting, playing cards, reading newspapers. A woman at the front desk smiled warmly. First time here? I nodded, suddenly unsure. She handed me a clipboard. We always need extra hands. Just fill this out, and I'll introduce you around. I hesitated. Was I really doing this? Then I felt the weight of the handkerchief in my pocket. And I picked up the pen. I didn't expect to enjoy it. But within a week, I found myself looking forward to it. Pouring coffee, helping with small tasks, sitting with folks who just needed someone to listen. It was simple, but it meant something. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I meant something. Then, one afternoon, something happened that nearly made me drop a tray of coffee cups. A familiar voice rang out from across the room, loud, cheerful, unmistakable. Well, well, well. Look who decided to join the land of the living. I turned so fast I nearly knocked over a chair. Benji, standing in the middle of the room, grinning like he had just won the lottery. I blinked. What the hell are you doing here? He laughed. I work here, old man. Well, volunteer. But still. I shook my head in disbelief. You've got to be kidding me. Benji strode over, clapping me on the back. Nope. This is my kingdom of lost souls, remember? You didn't think I was just a bus driver, did you? I stared at him. I had assumed that. But looking around now, I realized how wrong I was. Benji wasn't just some cheerful guy killing time behind a steering wheel. He was here, present, engaged. He knew people's names, their stories, their jokes. And somehow, I had walked right into his world. He smirked. So, what do you think? Feels good to be needed again, huh? I opened my mouth, then closed it. Because, yeah, it did. Months passed. Somewhere along the way, I stopped being just a volunteer. I became part of something. I made friends. I told stories. I laughed. One evening, as I reached into my pocket, I found the handkerchief. It was still there. But now, it wasn't just a reminder of an old woman's wisdom. It was proof. Proof that a single act of kindness, a bus driver's conversation, a stranger's small gift, could change a life. Benji, passing by, noticed me holding it. He smirked. Still carrying that thing around? I smiled, tucking it back into my pocket. Yeah. He nudged me. Guess you used it to wave hello to something new, huh? I chuckled. Yeah, I think I did. And for the first time in years, I wasn't just watching life anymore. I was living it.